Welcome back to another video. It is Tuesday afternoon, it's 10 to 1. If you've watched the last video, you know that my last block did not end how I wanted it to. So we picked up our puppy Azula on Friday night and then all of the weekend. Now I'm out of it and how I felt, I realized how exhausted I was. I'm actually really thankful I didn't force myself to try and just still get everything done in terms of my training, because I just think it would have had a really bad effect on like going into this week. Thankfully, she is settling in super well. So I basically had 3 nights last week where I probably didn't get past a light sleep stage of the sleep cycle, right? Like genuinely didn't actually fall into a deep sleep, probably 3 nights last week, both like Friday night and Saturday night especially. And thankfully, she's just settling in really quickly, because Sunday night she slept for 5 hours straight. And that is unheard. Like, she's 9 weeks old. Like, that is crazy. And then Monday night, last night, she also slept for 6 hours straight. So I'm obviously still sleep deprived, but I have been able to actually get some full sleep cycles in. And let me tell you, I can feel the benefit. So feeling a lot better now, like mentally, physically, just generally like feeling a lot better. And I don't feel as exhausted. One thing I have noticed is it tends to be afternoons, evenings that my energy just fully dips. Like kind of around 3-4 p.m. I just have these massive energy crashes and then I really struggle to kind of get back up. So that's why I'm getting my training done now, and I'm just going to make sure to kind of train this time of day this week while I'm on annual leave from coaching anyway. So plan today is, I have shuffled my training days around a little bit. So plan for today is just secondary bench day and then some upper accessories. So it shouldn't take me too long anyway. With my training structure, so I mentioned in the last video that I'm going to be making some changes to my training structure. Now, overall, what I was doing was what I needed. And I had the stimulus I needed throughout the week. I had I think the volume was right. I think the frequency was right and everything. I think I just essentially needed to just adjust things around a little bit so that the session length and everything else was just a little bit more sustainable for me. And it was in a way of me being able to maintain my energy levels a little bit better throughout the training sessions and stuff. So essentially this day used to be secondary squats, secondary bench, and then some upper accessories. And it wasn't a long session. Like my secondary squats never took me that long. Secondary bench never took me that long. And then my upper accessories literally took me like 15 minutes when I just cracked on and got them done. But since moving my lower body accessories to a Sunday with my upper body accessories, so I go to a commercial gym once a week and do a full body accessory day rather than having to go and travel there multiple times a week at the end of my sessions. So basically, because I'm now doing quite a lot of lower accessories on a Sunday, rather than just having one rest day and then going into secondary squats, I'm going to just move my secondary squats to a Wednesday, which means that a Wednesday will now be an SBD day, but I've adjusted that as well. So secondary squats, super light bench press. So I used to just do a 3x5 at 90. I've actually dropped that down to 80. So my pec last block wasn't super happy. It pretty much feels fine now, but basically just to kind of keep my pec happy, keep me healthy, I'm just going to pull the load on that one back slightly and see how that goes. Because that day is literally just a bit of like a movement prep kind of day, just getting the movement in, helping it feel consistent, light enough that it's just super easy. And I can just focus on good technique and positioning that then carries over into my other bench days. So I've just dropped the load on that day a little bit down to 80 kilos. And then I've got my primary deadlifts on a Wednesday as well. Previously, I moved all of my primary lifts to a Saturday, so I had one long primary SBD day, and that was fine. It was just such a long session that then by the time I got to deadlifts, I just kind of mentally, I wasn't checked out, I would say, but like it was just a lot. And while I'm in this deficit as well, I think it just makes sense to spread things out a little bit better throughout the week. And I have the time available on a Wednesday to do a longer session, because previously I was literally doing my super light bench, super light secondary deadlifts, and then some lower body kind of rehab type accessories. Whereas now what I'm going to be doing on a Wednesday is secondary squats, super light bench, primary deadlifts, which there's a lot of volume on my primary deadlift day as well, which I think is why having that as like its own main focal point on that day, I think will be really beneficial. And I think doing squats before that as well, like it might create some fatigue, but I'm not pushing my secondary squats too hard this block. But what I think it will do is it will allow me to be fully warmed up. My hips and everything will feel loose and good after squatting to then set up better on deadlifts. And then, yeah, I'll work through my deadlift volume and then still do kind of the rehab lower body movements anyway, because they only really took me 15 to 20 minutes if I just cracked on and got them done. One thing I actually did when kind of rejigging the order of my week was write like a little note of how long each thing should take me. And I've just made it in a way that none of my sessions need to take me more than 2 hours. most of my sessions won't even take me an hour if I just crack on and get them done. So that was another thing that I did to make sure that like everything fit in pretty well and it wasn't ever going to be an overwhelmingly long session, which I have the time to do, but there's just a bit of resistance when I have those longer sessions at the moment. And I think now that we've got Azula as well, I want to be able to just get in, get stuff done and be productive and kind of get out without being out here for too long. So yeah, that is Wednesday, and Thursday is still my super light tempo bench day. With just a few like upper accessories, which will literally take me 25 to 30 minutes. That's a super short session. And I think one thing I will say is a lot of people ask me how I get my sessions done so quickly, like during the week especially. And that's because I don't do a lot of, like if I was training in a gym and I had, or even if I had more accessory equipment here, the accessory day that I do on a Sunday wouldn't exist because these movements would be put into these other days throughout the week. But because I don't, I'd have to stop, drive to the gym and do them at the gym. Rather than doing that, I just put them on their own day. And that just works a lot better for me. And then, yeah, Saturday is going to be primary squats, primary bench, and then super light secondary deadlifts, which I think will actually take me hardly any time at all to get through that session, maybe an hour and a half. I put it as 2 hours maximum, but I don't think it will even take me that long. And then Sunday, full body accessories. So I've just kind of rejigged. Really, I've moved my secondary squats to a Wednesday, and then I've moved my primary deadlift and secondary deadlift to the opposite days, just to see how I find that. And I think I'm going to find that a lot better. Today's session, I have changed ever so slightly. So today I'm going to be doing 3-count bench, which is what I was doing before, but rather than doing a 3-count triple into a single 5 kilos heavier, I'm going to be doing a 3-count triple into a 3-count double into a 3-count single. Now, big part of that is a load management thing to stop my ego getting in the way, but still allow me to lift something heavy. So obviously by doing a triple, that's going to be lighter because I have to add 5 kilos for a double, which is then going to add 5 kilos to the single. And I think it's going to give me scope to actually increase the overall load on this day, but also keep fatigue down and not overshoot as much. So intrigued to see how I find that. And I actually run that with quite a few clients at the moment and they really enjoy it. And it's working really well for them. So I'm going to do that rather than the triple into the single. And then I'm also going to keep doing my last and press. I think I've got a last and press set of 6 and then 2x6 lighter from memory. And then, yeah, it's just some upper accessories. So this session will be pretty short, which is great. And I think, at least for today, especially because it's 30 degrees here again today, I'm quite happy I'm not going to be squatting. And then I'm just going to time my sessions this week and just see how long each session takes me, because I think that'll be interesting for me and I can use that as a guide for like the rest of this block. But one thing I will say is my 3-week block before the last one was so good. Like so good. I was incredibly happy with how all 3 lifts showed up. Squats, maybe not quite as much, but on my primary squats day, I have actually changed what I'm doing quite a bit. So I'll talk through that in Friday's video when I actually get to that session. But bench, that block, and deadlifts showed up in a way I was super happy with. So I know what I'm doing is working, which is why I think I was so calm when last block didn't end how I wanted it to. And like when I tell you, when I look back now at how I felt Saturday and Sunday, and to be honest, even most of last week, my energy was so low, but Saturday and Sunday in particular, like I was a shell of a human being. Like I was really struggling to function and focus and kind of just do everyday things. So to then try and push an end of block SBD, which is just like, it wasn't really ever going to happen. And I don't give into externals very easily. So there's that to mention. Quick body weight update or calorie update, nutrition update. Body weight dropped a lot last week. It dropped 0.5 kilo on average last week. And then Monday this week, I dropped again. And I was actually 85.1 yesterday. Had a little fluctuation up today, but I ate dinner super late last night. I think I was 85.6 this morning. But I did literally eat and then go to bed at like 11 o'clock last night. So it was all quite late. So not too surprised by that. Obviously, sleep's still not amazing either. But the fact that I was 85.1 yesterday is pretty big. And my nutrition coach and I kind of agreed, we don't really want me to be losing more than 300 grams a week. However, I feel good on this food. And right now, we don't know how my steps are going to be just with the changing routine with getting Azula, just currently while everything settles there. I've still been managing to hit about 10,000 the last few days. But before that, I was doing like 13 to 15,000. So there is a definite drop there. But basically, my nutrition coach and I said, you know what? You're feeling good on these calories. You've now got another light couple of weeks of training. So this week and next week are pretty light. What we can always do is just kind of ride this. If you drop a bit quicker, not the end of the world, like you still feel good. And then for that 3rd week of each block, I think we're going to just boost my calories to give me the performance increase that I need. We have increased my fats this week and lowered my carbs slightly because I wonder if that's part of my energy being a little bit lower, because I am someone that has always preferred to have higher fat than higher carb. And I think for me, it just allows my energy to be better. And I don't get ill as often when my fats are higher and my body just functions better. So we are trying, I think my fats are now at like 80 grams or something a day, which before they were kind of 65 to 70 at most. I think before that we were even on like 55 to 60 for a phase as well, and my calories were 2000. So calories are still 2,200 to 2,300 in that range. And then, yeah, just going to see how we go. Hoping to see another bit of a drop this week and kind of be back in the 84s this week. But it's a really nice feeling to know that I'm basically where, like, I can make weight so comfortably from where I am right now. So that's a really good thing. And I feel good on these calories. Like I say, my appetite's been fine. Even with the lack of sleep the last few days, I haven't really had any cravings or anything. So just going to continue going forwards. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop talking and get this bench session done.
We've said our goodbyes, but we won't go home just yet. You've got your head down, just like when we first met. I can't believe it's ending. Why did we fuck it up? So stupid and upsetting. How can I give you up? We've said our goodbyes, but we won't go home just yet. Let's stay here in this moment, pretend that we're not broken, and kiss me like you used to do before it all went down. 'Cause when the moon is falling, our love will turn to nothing. So kiss me like you used to do before it all went down. Give me this one night, hold me one last time, and kiss me like you used to do before it all went down. Give me your love now, before it runs out, and kiss me like you used to do before it all went down. It wasn't easy, but somehow you fell for me. I was your baby, and you were my clarity.
Okay, so session complete. I did actually time it. Now, I will say I didn't feel like I was working that quickly. I think because it's so hot, I was just kind of taking my time. 30 minutes and 32 seconds to get all of my bench and upper accessories done. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't loads of work. It wasn't anything heavy, so obviously it was going to be fairly quick. But I think knowing that I can get it done in that time is just like a nice thing for me mentally. And like I put a post on Instagram a while back, I don't know if I spoke about this on here before or not, about why I like to time my sessions, and it makes me more productive. It keeps me mentally more switched on and just focused on what I'm doing rather than like being tempted to scroll on Instagram or anything like that. So I think that works really well for me. And yeah, I really enjoyed that session. I think it's a good start to the week, the block. I think when I was training, I was very aware of how different I felt today versus training at the weekend. And I'm actually shocked at how much better I feel today, literally considering I'm still not sleeping that well. Like I had 5 hours the night before last, 6 hours last night. Like I'm someone that needs a lot of sleep. So I'm feeling really good. And yeah, I'm happy with the session. I don't think there's anything too much to report really. My pecs started to feel a little bit of discomfort on the final set of last and press, my lighter sets at 77. But nothing I'm concerned about. And I think having tomorrow as a lighter bench day, like even lighter, will be a good way to just keep what I need in to kind of help my bench feel good, because 4 days a week definitely does feel best for me, but without kind of re-aggravating anything or causing anything to kind of feel worse. So happy with that. I'm going to head in and get some lunch, gonna get some meal prep done, need to have a shower, and I've got a podcast at 4 and it is currently 1:30. So gonna just get all of that done, get myself cleaned up because it is warm. And yeah, then after the podcast, it's literally just gonna be a relaxed evening, kind of with the dogs. It's gonna be too hot to walk Zuko again. We went on an hour-long walk this morning anyway, but it'll be too hot to walk him again this evening. So I think it will just be kind of a chilled night in, which is what I need. When I booked this annual leave, originally the whole plan was literally to just spend the week basically doing nothing. Like obviously getting some movement in, like steps in. I was thinking about maybe taking on Zuko on some nice long walks, but if it's obviously gonna be this hot, I can't anyway. But really just spending a lot of time just on the sofa doing nothing and just really resting and just giving myself some time to just decompress, really. Getting a puppy obviously is going to impact the decompression, but to be fair, like I say, she's been so good so far that I feel like I can still get that relaxing time in. I think the only reason I haven't felt relaxed so far is because we've just had people around obviously every day to just meet her, and like my mum's been around every single day helping. She hasn't been around today. No one's coming around today, which is actually like the first day where it's just kind of me. My boyfriend tonight when he gets home from work and stuff as well will just be like more of a relaxed kind of routine kind of day, which is nice. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to head in. Need to get some food in me. One thing I also slacked on last week as well was getting my food in straight after training. Like I left it a bit too long and I just found myself like having major energy crashes from that as well. So I'm being really, really strict on meal timings now as well, and just dialing everything in. So yeah, anyway, gonna stop talking, gonna wrap the video up here. Thank you very much. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Please be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in a few days for the next one.
Can't believe